The Outer Worlds, available on all modern platforms, retailing for $59.99 on digital storefronts. However, if looking for this game physically, you can find it for as little as $20 for all platforms. The Outer Worlds is a Western-style role-play game with first-person shooter elements, most similar to that of Fallout New Vegas. Which is no coincidence, as Obsidian developed both this game and Fallout New Vegas. The Outer Worlds style is that of a retro future, with everything looking like a future that would have been imagined in the early 60s. Something like the Robert Heinlein Future Histories series. The game takes place on a colonized solar system far from Earth that is apparently run without any kind of government by various corporations that invested in the colonization. At the start of the game, this has been going on for long enough that the people haven't just sold their soul to the company store, but have no concept of doing anything else.
Suicide's a crime. The legal term is irreparable damage to company property. What Eugene did to himself was vandalism. When one of your workers commits a crime, the entire town pays for it. In other words, Edgewater would have been penalized pretty hard. Whatever Eugene was worth as an asset, we would have had to pay out of pocket to Spacer's Choice.
And it is a theme throughout the game that people don't actually regard themselves and others as people, but simply assets for the company. This would make for a very depressing game, except for the humor that goes throughout the game. Your player character is a man out of time owing to some cryogenic shenanigans, and oftentimes has dialogue options showing the absurdity of the situation, which are often made even more absurd when you see how the NPCs react to these dialogue choices.
When the swarms of mechanicals come clanging on over that hill, where will you be? Cowering beneath your cot? Or standing shoulder to shoulder with the resistance?
Gameplay can be broken up into two major sections. The RPG side, where you use skills that you acquire through leveling up to accomplish various goals, and the combat side. Both have unique quirks to them. The skills level up in a somewhat unique way. Skills are grouped into various categories together. At first, you only level up the categories, so when you level up stealth skills, it'll increase your ability to lockpick, hack, and sneak. But when the skills get high enough, you have to start leveling them up individually, meaning that it is very easy to have a lot of journeyman level skills, but you will still have to choose a small number to truly master. Combat, for the most part, is your standard first-person shooter fare. Take aim, pull the trigger. If you brought any NPC companions with you, they will try to help in combat, but for the most part they'll just get in the way. There is a slight novelty to combat, where you have the ability to slow down time to a very limited extent. It can be useful, but in the heat of combat I often forgot that I had it. Now, when traveling, combat is kind of unavoidable between insane humans and various wildlife. But when doing quests, there is usually a non-combat option. These will usually require certain skills to be high enough, so you may not be able to access these options on every playthrough, but it is still nice to know that you have an option other than your gun most of the time. The quests can also be resolved to the benefit of multiple parties, meaning there is a great deal of replay value. Do you do everything for the benefit of the corporations? Do you try to bring some sanity to the people of this world? Are you just a greedy force of chaos? You have all of these options. And others. And it's this freedom of choice, along with the game's humor, that keep you coming back. It may be possible to do a combat free run by investing huge numbers of points into Sneak. I'll never personally know because stealth is not my cup of tea, but I think it's hypothetically possible. Graphically, things look pretty good. Everything looks kinda worn out and grungy for the most part. Until later in the game where you start seeing some richer areas. This game is a high-quality experience, but is it worth the money? The $60 on digital storefronts, I feel, is a bit too much. However, the $20 price tag on physical copies is an absolute steal. I would even go as high as $30 for this particular game. As it is fairly long and very replayable, you will certainly get your money's worth with the Outer Worlds. Please do like, comment, subscribe, and tell your friends.